What up, y'all? This is Davey D, Oakland, California. We all got a story to tell, a lesson to learn. This is my story. What up, y'all? This is Davey D. This is my story from my mouth.
At what age do you feel you became an adult?
15 or 16.
Wow.
My family broke up. It wasn't an intended thing, but it happened. And I had a choice. You know, I could have came out here to Cali, or I could finish up my education at Bronx High School of Science. And so for that summer, I stayed in our old apartment for a while, and then stayed with my grandparents, which meant that I was pretty much on my own. But I didn't have the four walls, so to speak, and the consistency of parents anymore. So that you had to learn. You had to learn fast. The seeds that they planted kept me out of trouble, but it also made me become more independent.
At what age were you when you picked the career choice that everybody know you for?
Probably my mid-20s. Yeah, around then.
What was your early struggles pursuing your dreams, and how did you overcome them?
Not having money. You know, I didn't have money for speakers, so we had to build our own. Radio Shack, you know, look at somebody else's speakers, find somebody who could explain how the wires went, you know, become friends with the nerdy guy on the block who knew ohms and all that and wattages, and built our own. Had to learn the hard way. You know, one time the speakers caught on fire, but eventually we learned how to do them, right? So now I got several sound systems, right? But that was the buildup. The journalism thing, same thing. I didn't have a computer, but I worked at a place where you can rent a computer. So at night, the computers that weren't rented, I took home, used them, learned how to do them, and that opened up doors. So not having money was always an obstacle. I mean, it made you have to be resourceful, but it also wasn't the easiest route always. It would have been a lot easier just to be able to have some things.
Did you have anyone close to you that didn't support your dreams in the beginning?
Can't say I have. You know, my mom was always a supporter. You know, my sister, supporter. And we were taught early, shed all haters, you know, and ignore them. So even if there was haters in the circle, you know, I'm oblivious to them. In fact, you know, the reaction to a hater is to be successful. You know, my thing is like, oh, you gonna hate? I'm gonna make you hate me even more. Like, I'm gonna relish that, you know, to be able to look at you and be like, I'm at this point. So that's a motivation, to be honest, you know.
Who would you say was your biggest supporters in your music career and in politics?
My mom by far was the most supportive. Outside of my mom, there, you know, my godmother was a big supporter. You know, names that, you know, that people may know, Chuck D was a big supporter. Chuck gave me a lot of breaks in terms of like people that you would know. More closer to home, I would say it'd be people like Ricky Vincent, the Uhuru Maggot who does radio out here, Walter Turner, former Black Panther, you know, help open doors and give me some insight. Renell and Lisa St. Regis, those were people that took me under the wings, when I got in commercial radio. Alex Mejia, one of the DJs there. So, just feeding off other people that we learn from each other. But just in terms of eldership, it would probably be people in my church, Allen Temple, a lot of guidance from there. Nation of Islam, even though I've never been in Nation, close relationship with a lot of them brothers, helped keep me on point. So it was a village that made me,
What is the highlight of your journey?
Honestly, my kids and my wife, the family is the highlight. Career-wise, it would probably be being able to do commercial radio, making it into that spot was a highlight. Some pretty memorable interviews I've done. Paul Mooney, Dick Gregory at the same time. That never happened before. That was a big highlight. One of the first people to do interviews around Dark Alliances with Gary Webb. So one of his first radio interviews was our show. In fact, I think it was the first interview. So that was a highlight. Him talking about the connection to CIA and crack. I had everybody on that show except Freeway Rick, who was in jail at the time, and eventually stood right here with Freeway Rick to talk about those interviews. So that would be a big highlight in terms of just interviews. Being able to teach at State was a big highlight as well.
What was the worst part of your journey?
I had a book that was about to come out, and it was based upon a lot of my journals. I've been writing it for a while, about 5-6 years. Had a lot of things, first person account of hip hop as I remember it coming up. I was in a couple of crews, so just that firsthand stuff that only if you were there that you could appreciate it. And an article was done about me releasing the book. I was going to do it independently. Had the computer and the backup drives in my car. Pulled up to the station, went inside for about 20 minutes, came out, my entire car was gone. And apparently somebody had master keys. It was a Saturn. Was able to just rob Saturns. Robbed the thing, found the car a few days later, computer backup, everything gone. So I never really recovered from that sort of thing. We have remnants, like a gallery copy of the book, but it wasn't all the stuff that I had. So, just recently, just finished completing the second revision of Can't Stop, Won't Stop that Jeff Chang did. So he brought me in to co-write the second thing with him. So some of that will be there, but that was a blow. That was a hard one to recover from. What up, y'all? This is Davey D, Oakland, California. We all got a story to tell, a lesson to learn. This is my story.